Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Energy Markets Forum. We're here Thursday, the end of the week, and Andy was just running out to make sure his flowers are going to arrive in time for Carol in Germany on Sunday. We'll see. But an early happy Valentine's to everybody. Let's kick off in Asia, I think. Australia is Asia. We'll still stick with that. Sydney, Peter McGuire, CEO of XM Australia. Peter, a bit of a breather in the market opened this morning in Asia, but nonetheless, this has surely been a big rally that seems to be still got more legs.
Well, good morning, Sean, and good morning, fellow panelists. Yes, it certainly has. It has been a little bit of a sell-off today, but nothing dramatic. New Zealand was down 0.5%, and everything else is, just choppy. US dollar index at 90.3. Let's see what happens over the next matter of weeks. It's certainly been, again, fairly range bound, Sean. And also the interesting one I've been looking at is the gold picture. So it's had an enormous rally, the best part of about $120, $130 since the start of the month. So up and down and all around.
Peter, the signals out of the Iraqi minister, which is published on the Digest today, is that Saudi Arabia is likely to end this 2 months of unilateral cut of 1 million barrels a day. I'm wondering your own view. Is the market ready for more oil? There was a lot of concern at the beginning of the year that OPEC was going to move ahead with their planned 2 million barrels a day. All of the market signals were no, don't do that. And they backed away from it quite dramatically. Now, come the second quarter, is the market ready for Saudi to put back this 1 million?
Well, Sean, I'll answer it in one way. Over the last 110 days, we're up 50% as far as the price of Brent. So that really tells me from a trade perspective, it's been bull market. It's been a wonderful time to be long for crude over that period since the late part of October. So yes, it may be able to absorb, though I still think that 60 is the handle. We did a lot of work together across, Gulf Intelligence, and everyone came up with a forecast, and we seem to have hit that number far quicker than anyone realised. Here we are on the 11th of
I voted 60 in February just to put it out there.
I think I did too, but I just say I don't think there's much more upside. I'm worried about the inflation numbers. I'm worried about, that's further down the road. But I hear what Carol's going through, the lockdowns in Germany, the uncertainty across Europe, as Andy mentioned. So, yes, maybe there's the opportunity to, for the Saudis to re-engage. But I think if you're a producer, Sean, you're a lot happier today than what you were in October, November.
Peter, he was also very dismissive of any concerns regarding inflation. I'm wondering your own thoughts on that, and also the point he was making about the long-term unemployed. In some ways, the COVID pandemic, like it did with many other things, accelerated a inevitable redundancy of so many different jobs and skill sets that were already on the cards, maybe not coming that quickly, but ultimately a certain number of labor positions becoming redundant in the digital economy. That's happened very quickly now. I'm wondering, that's certainly the Western experience. Is there a version of that in Asia? Where do you see inflation?
Well, first off, I'll answer the second one, Sean.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been hit by a bus, and it's been a dramatic push back. When you're looking at artificial intelligence and new technologies taking over the workforce. So, yeah, they've been hit doubly hard, and it's going to be a long, hard grind from, moving forward. As far as inflation, we all understand that 2% number. And look, I think that if crude can stay around that 50 to 60 handle, from an inflation standpoint, we've got a couple of years of these low rates, and to get, as Carol, building on what Carol mentioned, to get above that hole. We're still under here, and we're going to climb back up and then start to walk. So I think inflation's not Jay Powell's major issue at the moment. He just wants to see an engagement as far as one, knock over Corona, or certainly from a vaccination standpoint, if that's the answer, then a fallback as far as numbers and the severity. less lockdowns, and get an economy back on track.
I mean,
and
do
that's
you
going
need
to be
to
the
see
issue.
those other, I mean, that other data point you referenced earlier, the 90 on the dollar index, so that 90 keeps the elevated oil price relatively sober on its impact for inflation in the emerging markets?
I think the US is a better position than what it is in Europe. So yes, that possibly that that US dollar index has got a 91. No one's raising rates. Maybe that's going to be the number. Don't put your mind back to April and we're 103. So it's been a massive sell-off. Euro strength, pound strength, and everything
miss
else.
April. I miss April for one reason. You just hit it on the head, but that's a very personal, selfish thing. Peter, your thoughts on that comment regarding Australia and New Zealand?
Well, 2 points. First off, Sean, yes, it's certainly a handbrake, but the other side is we've missed out as far as tourist dollars. We're in the middle of summer here now, so the tourism sector has been decimated, and how that rolls back into, how it plays out into 21. Though I network with quite a few senior guys in real estate, residential real estate, and what we've noticed is that there's an over capacity as far as Aussies coming home, expats, to the tune of 250 to 300,000, they tell us, across to Australia, back home from the likes of Hong Kong and other nations, and the boom in real estate has just been one-way traffic. And the other side is that the economy, people are moving from cities to rural areas on the coastlines. We've got, massive coastlines. So that may be another part to it. There's no doubt that, we've been very, very stringent as far as the lockdowns and in turn, the 14-day isolation. So let's see how we are at the start of April, say, and whether we back that off and the vaccines, and that's going to be our saviour. So it's a hard one. But New Zealand also is performing very, very well.
Peter, just on that other point, the early signs of the China-US relationship under Trump and where that leaves countries like Australia in their challenges with China at the moment. How is that looking at this point? We're seeing a lot of US naval vessels in the South China Sea in recent days. Yeah. How do you see that at this point?
Well, there's two things on that also, Sean, that there's military activities in the Indian Ocean, and we also know that Western Australia faces the Indian Ocean. So that's China, Russia, and someone else. I'll think of the other nation. And they're doing military work, but the Aussies are doing other work with the US as far as militarily in Guam at the moment. I think it's really starting to raise a lot of Australians' viewpoints that there's a super city projected to be built in Papua New Guinea to the tune of $40 billion. And we all understand that what Japan tried to invade Australia through Papua New Guinea in the Second World War, and we defeated them. And that really is causing much concern to domestic policy here. And we haven't got really many allies.
Who's funding the Papua New Guinea project? The
China,
Chinese?
Sean. Yeah. China. Yes, it's a China $40 billion project to be a major city, port, and you name it, everything else. And one would assume that there'd be some form of military there. So that's right on our border. That's a very
always much the soft underbelly of Australia, Papua New Guinea, in that sense.
Yes, it is. Historically, and we've always been to their. We've always assisted them greatly, and we play, international sport against them. We've got very strong relationships, but this could just be another extension of China's tentacles across very much that Asia precinct or down the bottom of Asia, and where we play with our neighbours or our allies being Taiwan, Japan, United States, and New Zealand.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Carol. Everybody have a great weekend. And we'll catch up with everybody next week, the Middle East week. Until then, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. See you, Sean.